with this conservative influencer trying to say that transness is a fucking choice?
Put words in my mouth. I literally didn't say that.
Why are we just letting this happen in the street? We're a fucking half block away from the fucking Pride Parade. We're just gonna let this happen?
What do you think? That you get like a magical 1 mile free speech buffer zone around your event? That's not how that works. Hey guys, we're back with another normal gays reaction video. I'm Brad Polumbo here with TikTok extraordinaire Clarkson Lawson. We're going to be reacting to a kind of crazy video when our friend Arielle Scarcella, who's a lesbian Republican who supports Trump, went to a Pride event. Can you guess how that one would have went, Clarkson? If you go to wearing a MAGA hat in particular.
Yeah, I think we all knew how that was going to go. I think Arielle knew how that was going to go. It made good content. We'll just say that.
It did, but she literally needed a bodyguard to protect her from one of the unhinged people at this event. Let's take a look at this clip here. It's really quite something.
It's because of people like you. It's because of
I
Trump people.
I support the detrans community.
Took away the procedures for people to be able to.
The Supreme Court just ruled on that.
On minors, yes, on minors. On minors, yes, and I agree with that.
Period.
On what?
Or period. They took it.
No,
period.
minors, yes.
You can no longer get gender-affirming care under 18 in Tennessee.
I agree with that, and I think a lot of LGBT people do, including a lot of my transsexual friends.
So what are trans kids supposed to do? Just fucking sit and wait?
A lot of kids grow out of it.
But what's the problem?
A lot of kids grow out of it.
Yes,
So
they
you're
do.
saying it's a fucking choice. You're saying it's a fucking phase. This woman's coming to New York Pride trying to say, so why are we okay with this conservative influencer trying to say that transness is a fucking choice?
Put words in my mouth. I literally didn't say that.
Why are we just letting this happen in the street? We're a fucking half block away from the fucking Pride Parade. We're just gonna let this happen?
Yeah, it's freedom of speech. I also didn't say that.
What's the problem with trans people?
If you let me, are you gonna calm down? Are you gonna let me talk? Because you're okay. Then
because you're spreading hate at an LGBT event.
I'm gay.
She's gay. Also, I just feel like every time I see these people, you can always count on shampoo not being a part of their daily routine.
I find so many parts of this video funny, like the idea that she's spreading hate half a mile away from our Pride Parade. First off, I don't think she's spreading hate, but even if she was, what do you think? That you get like a magical 1 mile free speech buffer zone around your event? That's not how that works.
No, and I thought it was funny how that girl is like trying to argue with her, and she's like, they just banned it for everyone. It's like, you're at a Pride Parade, probably surrounded by trans people who are still getting their hormones, who are still getting their gender affirming care, and you think that it was banned for everyone? Like,
and she's got the F Trump pin on, but clearly has no idea what Trump's actual policy is about this.
yeah, it's just embarrassing. It's really embarrassing. Good job for Arielle to be able to do this. I could not do that. Like, honestly, I don't think I could go out in the field like that and see these people in person.
And then this dude is just crashing out on her, and he totally misunderstands what she said. One, she's saying, yeah, they should have to wait till they're 18. Agreed, that's common sense. But then he's like, you're saying being trans is a choice, when she said that some people who experience gender dysphoria and then go through their birth, sex, puberty, if they aren't, transitioned as minors, will grow out of it. That dysphoria will resolve. It's just not the same thing as saying being trans is a choice. It's a different point. It's that the medical condition known as gender dysphoria does resolve itself through puberty. In many cases, this is well documented, and a lot of those people just grow up to be effeminate gay men or masculine lesbian women who are comfortable in their birth sex. That's not saying that being trans is a choice. That's not the same thing, but he just didn't get it, and he didn't want to listen or learn. He just wanted to scream and throw a fit.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a choice if the dysphoria dissipating was a conscious function of your brain. But if you go through puberty and the dysphoria goes away, that's not something that happens consciously. It's not like, oh, my dysphoria is going to go away. It's honestly like a basic level of comprehension, but I don't think that all of these people are just low IQ. I think they're just emotional and they're very triggered, and they aren't really able to just sit back and grasp what people are actually saying, like Arielle. And I think that's exactly what's happening here.
Yeah, that's an interesting word, because triggered gets overused, but this guy actually seemed like triggered, like emotionally triggered to the point where he wasn't even processing her words. He was just so overrode with emotion about how he felt about it all.
Yeah. And that's common. I mean, even on TikTok, you see that. Like, there's plenty of videos, whether it's about politics or if it's about LGBT issues. You see these people getting online freaking out, like, "Oh, trans, we're getting attacked, blah blah blah," and it's like, relax. Just listen to the other side. Even if you don't like them, you don't agree with them, you might actually learn something.
And how can you disagree with them or rebut their points if you can't even bring it to yourself to like listen to a single word they're saying? That's crazy to me.
Yeah, and I know these people have the time to do it.
There is another video from when Arielle went to this New York City Pride event that I want to take a look at. Let's view that.
If I'm a lesbian that voted for Trump, like, would you think I'm still allowed to be here?
Yeah, I might not agree with you, but I would be like, you're a lesbian.
I feel like he's not for the people, so supporting someone who isn't for you is kind of just...
I think he is for us. I mean, I'm a gay American, and he supports Americans, and he supports gay people.
How do you personally justify voting for someone who goes against your identity?
I mean, I don't think he does. We literally just had an event, Log Cabin Republicans, at the Trump Tower. Like, Trump knows that we do it every year. We have Gays for Trump there.
His beliefs, and your Christian beliefs, I'm assuming?
No, I'm not Christian. I'm actually just very spiritual, yeah.
Okay, so how do you feel about the fact that Trump identifies with a religion that is non-inclusive to your identity?
I don't think that's true either. I think the majority of Christians these days, not everyone, of course, I think the majority of Christians, I mean, if you go to church, I'm just driving here on Pride Sunday, there were all these churches that said Pride service, right? I think the majority of them woke up.
That might be a New York thing. I think in a lot of the rest of the United States, that's not at all the case. I think that really is just New York.
I think it's a lot of the bigger cities. I agree with that, and I think we still have some way to go.
You know what I love about this is that Arielle will cede some of the points to these people and agree with them, but they will never agree with her on anything.
Yeah. Well, and it is interesting because I liked how these people reacted. They didn't melt down. They didn't go berserk at her like the other dude. They're just like, wait, well, how could you do that? And they were asking her questions and they were talking to her. And I do appreciate that, like that willingness to have dialogue, to have discussions. But they do seem, and I'm critical of Trump on all sorts of issues, on free speech, First Amendment, capitalism, trade, spending, just like behavior, all sorts of stuff. But so many people have internalized this idea that he's like anti-gay in some meaningful way. And obviously his administration has moved strongly against a lot of trans issues and rolled back a lot of things that some people view as like trans rights. But gay and trans are two different concepts. And I really can't think of any meaningful ways in which Trump is like anti-gay. He appointed the highest ranking ever gay official in Scott Bessent. He's been openly fine with gay marriage for years. But people, you see this in the street interviews, they've all just internalized the idea that he's like against gay people or against lesbian people, yet they never seem to be able to substantiate that belief.
Yeah, and they kind of fall on religion, and I just feel like if Trump is a example of a Christian in this country, then Christians are not what they preach, because Trump is the furthest thing from a practicing Christian. So I thought that was interesting too. I mean, I've never seen Trump be blatantly homophobic. I can understand the point that he is surrounding himself with people that are, but I've never seen Trump himself say things that are blatantly homophobic.
Well, I've had this experience where I talk to people who are in this mindset and I ask them, okay, give me an example of an anti-gay policy from Trump. And they mention a trans policy. Right. I'm like, no, I asked you for an anti-gay, and they're like, but it's anti-LGBTQ plus AIA. And I'm like, no, you can't just conflate all these things. That would be like if you were trying to say, well, someone's racist against black people. And I said, okay, give me an example of their racism against black people. And you start telling me about a time that they were racist against Asian people. I'm like, what? That's not quite the same thing.
Well, it all comes down to them using intersectionality as a justification for pretty much every single type of mental gymnastics you can play. And you know, I mean, I think that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I give it to Arielle for this because, like I said before, conversing with these people is very challenging, and it's hard not to get triggered, even on our side, because you're making valid points and they're not listening. Although the
They're
second
not.
was a little bit better.
Yeah, it was. And I also give her credit. Shout out to her for going there and doing this. I think it makes for interesting content, but also like important conversations because the LGBT category is not a political monolith. And as horrified and scandalized as some of these people are at the idea that any gay person or lesbian person could vote for a Republican, a non-insignificant number do and did. And this community, if it even is one, which I kind of doubt, is going to have to grapple with that at some point. But you guys let us know what you think in the comments below. Hit that like button, make sure you're subscribed if you aren't yet, and check out Clarkson's YouTube channel, linked in the description.